Good morning students. Today we are going to learn lesson number 5, the Fundamental Rights Part 2. In the last chapter we studied some fundamental rights guaranteed by the Indian Constitution. We studied the rights of liberty, equality and the right against the exploitation. In this chapter we shall also learn about the right to freedom of religion, cultural and educational rights, and we shall get acquainted with the judicial protections available for the fundamental rights. Last chapter, 3 rights we learned. In this chapter, we are going to learn right to freedom of religion, cultural and educational rights, and right to constitutional remedies. Now, under the right to freedom of religions, which things are included? India, we know, is an important secular country in the world. We have studied it in the previous classes. But you must be curious to know what the Indian Constitution say about it, isn't it? It is included in our right to freedom of religion. According to it, India, we know, is an important secular country in the world. We have studied it in the previous classes. But you must be curious to know what the Indian Constitution say about it, isn't it? It is included in our right to freedom of religion. According to it, each Indian citizen is free to practice any religion and to establish institutions for religious reasons. In order to broaden the scopes of the right to freedom of religion, 2 things are not permitted. See here, first of all, the state cannot impose religious taxes that might be used to encourage a particular religion. That is, our Constitution forbids religious taxes. Second one, religious educations cannot be made compulsory in educational institutions that receive aid from the state. Now, cultural and educational right. We can see that there is a great diversity of festivals, food, and ways of life in our country. You may have noticed the differences in the different wedding ceremonies that you attended. All these things are part of the cultural of the different communities. Our Constitution has given the different communities the right to preserve their cultural uniqueness. Article 29 and 30, Cultural and Educational Rights. Protection of interests of the minorities also there. Right of minority to establish and administer educational institutions also. According to the right, people are not only free to preserve their own language, script, and literature, but also make efforts towards their promotions. They can establish institutions for the development of their languages. In case of encroachment of fundamental rights, the Indian citizens' right to get judicial remedies is also a fundamental right. This is called the right to constitutional remedies. This means the Constitution itself has provided for legal remedies in case people's rights get violated. So it becomes a constitutional duty of the courts to protect the rights of the people. Constitutional remedies, Article 32. Right to constitutional remedies. Article 32 was called the very soul of the constitutions and a very heart of it by Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. Miss Babasaheb Ambedkar. Some the rights that are guaranteed to us by the constitutional may get encroached upon and we are not able to exercise our rights. This is called an infringement of our rights. The court considered our complaints, investigates it, and in case it is convinced that rights have indeed been infringed upon and injustice has been done to aggrieved individuals, the court gives an appropriate verdicts. Verdicts means decision. Some instances of infringements of rights: arresting an individual without reason, preventing a person for leaving a village or a town without giving a valid reason, refusing food, water, an individual without reason, preventing a person from leaving a village or town without giving a valid reason, refusing food, water, or medicine to jail inmates. Now, rights as a constitutional remedies. Court have powers to issue various kinds of the rights to protect the rights of the citizen. Here, Habeas Corpus, manus, prohibitions, quo warranto, certiorari. Court have power to issue various kinds of the rights to protect the rights of the citizens. The Habeas Corpus, protection from unlawful arrests and detentions. Manus, the order of the court, that is the Supreme Court or the High Court, commanding the government to perform an action that is its duty to perform in public interest. Prohibitions, to prevent a subordinate court for exceeding its jurisdiction. To prevent a subordinate court from exceeding its jurisdictions. Quo warranto, to establish a person from acting in an office to which he is not entitled. Certiorari, to order the removal of a law switched from a subordinate courts to the superior courts. Is the reactions of these governments officials' rights or wrongs? An officer tells a woman who presents all the documents for getting the benefits of a scheme for destitutes, "You don't look like a destitute," and refuse her the benefits of the scheme. In this instance, do you think the woman's right has been infringed? Where should she go to get redressals? Because the fundamental rights are thus protected by the court, citizens are able to exercise their rights. They can fulfill their roles as alert, responsible and active citizen. While considering fundamental rights, we also need to remember our duties.